Kenny Dooley. How are you doing?
Not too bad.
Are you sure?
We'll see how it goes.
Fair enough. I was just saying to you just before we hit record there that you ever have one of those weeks where you look at the diary and think on a Monday morning and then say, I just don't see how I get to Friday afternoon. That's this week for me.
Every single week.
Every single week for you?
Every single week, pretty much.
Triple booked, double booked.
I'm just a terrible administrator, so normally wherever I am, I'm supposed to be somewhere else. So
right,
just crap.
Fair enough. Well, you look lovely and relaxed. You don't know much of this, as you've told me, but this is one of the first times that you've done this, so we are honoured to have you with us on the Crux Cast. Thanks for joining us. Now, for those that do know you, they'll know that you're MD of OGV Energy. So for people that maybe in the sector, in the oil and gas sector, they'll definitely know OGV Energy and what it's all about. Can you just give us the headlines for people who don't know what OGV Energy is all about? Tell us what you do there.
Yeah, I guess now we're kind of like a digital media company for the energy sector. We do monthly events. We have a network, a community. We have a website that gets about 400,000 people a month visiting our website. We have a monthly magazine. So that's pretty much it. We're sort of a brand ambassador for supply chain companies in the energy sector, really.
Right. Okay. So we're going to circle back to that because there's some interesting stage lefts and stage rights that have occurred over your life. I mean, if we go right back to the start of where you grew up in Glasgow, right? Or certainly started in Glasgow.
Yeah, Drumchapel. Yeah.
Drumchapel, the capital of the cultural capital of Europe.
Yeah, one of the top housing states in Glasgow. Yeah.
Oh yes,
they're all the same. They're all the same.
So I'm interested in the journey, how you go from starting life and you end up doing what you're doing, because you've had quite an interesting life all the way through. So what was the dream at school when you were at school? What was your interest and what did you want to be?
Well, I'd like to be a fireman, but growing up, one of my friends' dad was a train driver.
Right.
And they had a pretty nice house, very comfortable. So I thought a train driver would be a great. I thought that would be a great life. You know, I think at that time a train driver was about 27,000 pounds a year. You know, I thought that was pretty good salary.
Yeah.
So that would have been perfect.
Warm and dry, job for life, no stress, no drama, cool. But you didn't decide to just have that nice easy life. You decided to go on a route. So what happened when you left school?
So when I left school, it was either go and try and get an apprenticeship or whatever, go to college. To be honest, I just wanted to earn money.
Right.
I wanted to make a wage. So I got a YT job working in a store for a company called Walters Hexagon when I was 15. So I think my first wage was like £42 plus bus fares. And that was me I was with them for a good long time. They were bought over. We moved office to Edinburgh, moved into the office, and kind of developed that way. Met a girl, eventually moved to Aberdeen. But during that, I think I've always failed as far as successfully starting up businesses many times. So I've had a whole bunch of different failures. So when I was at Walters Hexagon, we were basically we ran production lines. So we provided nuts, bolts, bearings, everything for the production line. But we only dealt with companies that had like £1 million plus spend. So I thought there was a market for companies that didn't have. So our sales guy was bringing in leads and then basically discarding them. So I decided I'll follow up with these leads. So I ended up developing a little business supplying nuts and bolts. It was called Bear Products. Right. Eventually, we had 3 staff. One of them was my sister, and we had a job with a company called Andrews Antennas to supply little pre-built clamps for antennas for 3G at the time. Another company in Haddington who was sort of my biggest client anyway, and they went bust like overnight. We had product that was locked in their unit, and we had to try and get hold of somebody who had a key, a pass key or whatever it was to eventually get some product. But anyway, that put us out of business. So I was about 18 or 19 at the time, and then I had a roofline business. Eventually we had 3 vans doing roofline, plastic. But that turns out that's more a summer job than an all year round job. Yeah. So that didn't work either. And then when I was at college, I started working in a kitchen and bathroom shop.
Right.
And I thought, I could do this. So I started doing online kitchen and bathroom sales, and that was making some money. And I thought, I could just open a showroom because I'll get better deals off the suppliers. So I opened a showroom in Kirkintilloch in Glasgow. But I was by that time based up in Aberdeen. So, and the showroom was totally in the wrong location. So we were still making money on the website, but making no money in the store. And I had 2 staff. So that didn't work either. And then we had Seagrove and then OGV Energy.
My goodness, what an interesting.
So I'm a serial failure.
Well, not now. It all led to here. It was all for a purpose, right? It was all for a purpose.
It was all learning, learning every time.
Absolutely. So on your CV and on your profile, it talks about, so as well as all of that, which is really interesting, right? And this is the reason. Well, there is a reason why we're here, and we'll talk about that in a second. That was the precursor to all of this. But walk us through biomedical sciences at Robert Gordon. How did that happen?
Well, I went straight from school, straight to work.
Right.
So I was working in recruitment pre-downturn 2008, 2009, and the market was rubbish at that time. So I thought, rather than trying to go back to another recruitment company, and it's commission based, and it's a nightmare, and it's hard work for the people who are good at it. They deserve their money. They're very good at it. So I thought, rather than going back and trying to get another job when it's such a tough market, and I didn't have a lot of connections in Aberdeen anyway, so I thought I'll go back to college and I'll get a degree because I didn't have one.
Right.
So I went to Aberdeen College and done applied science for 2 years, and then RGU for biomedical science.
Wow.
So that was that, and basically it was, I've been away from school for so long, so I was just kind of thinking, what do I remember enjoying at school? And I kind of thought science was kind of all right, so I thought we'll just go for that. So applied science was the only course that Nescol or Aberdeen College at the time did, so that was that. That was basically why.
And okay, there are lots of people with degrees that have used them and work very much in the space of what the degree was centered around. There are people who don't use it so much but benefit from what they studied at uni. Have you been able to apply that in life anywhere?
No, absolutely not.
I had structured learning
fun playing with pig blood and stuff like that, but yeah, right. as it got on, I realised probably science wasn't really for me. I kind of enjoyed it, but I would have probably picked an easier course. I struggled anyway, because like even in the college side, I really struggled for the first year or so trying to get my head around maths again.
Right.
Algebra and stuff like that I just hadn't done for so long, and then the people in your class are 15 years younger than you, and they're flying past you, like, so that was tough for definitely the first 6 months or so, just trying to get your head back into that kind of learning.
I bet, absolutely. I just love the fact that you're the serial trier. You just don't get put down. I'll go and give something else a try. I'll give something else a try. I'll try that.
Everybody just tells you, why don't you just go and get a normal job? Just go and get a job. But yeah, but when I'm too deep now, so I just keep going.
Yeah, quite right. Now, tell me the story about, or tell us the story about the module that you did on organ donation and what effect that had on your life, because I think this is magical.
Yeah, so we done part of the course at Nescol was on transplantation. So basically just the research in that, and then you find some crazy things online like that. Nothing like this ever came across my mind to look up or research or whatever, but it was part of the course. So when I was researching it, and I came across people there was people online begging for organs, the 2-year-old kid, babies, whatever, some serious sad stuff. And then I found other people from other parts of the world who were trying to sell their organs. Again, really people killing themselves and selling every part of their body to support their families and stuff like this. So really, really crazy stuff. I came across a teacher in England who was, I think she was in her mid-50s, and she had donated her kidney to a stranger. So I'd never heard of that before. So I looked into that more. I spoke to her, and she hadn't actually donated. Actually, she was just about a month after I had started speaking to her, she was donating her kidney. So
was that someone that she had? Did she just donate her kidney and say, use this wherever you want, or did she answer a call about someone needing a kidney?
No, just a total stranger. So she just wanted to do that and followed up with it. So she told me, I asked her, how do you go about this? And she said, well, I've not actually done it yet. I'm just going through the process. Right. So I thought, okay. So I said, how did you start? So she said, just phone your local hospital and speak to the transplant coordinator. So I phoned ARI. They said, oh, we don't do that here. Phone Edinburgh or Glasgow. So I'm from Glasgow, so I phoned Glasgow. And they sent me up with a transplant coordinator. And I went down to Glasgow, went and seen her. And then just started the process, and then eventually donated my kidney. So I think I was the first in Scotland to altruistically donate.
Are you serious?
My kidney. Yeah. I think in the UK now there's nearly maybe about 800 or so
that have just gone and altruistically given organs that they could donate. That's incredible, outstanding. Yeah. So that takes, you probably won't even see this, and you'll probably hate me even asking the question, but that takes a special kind of thinking. That's different to normal average Joe kind of thinking. And the reason that we're here is I saw a video that you put out on LinkedIn a couple of weeks back, where you put this beautiful little video out, just made on your phone. I think you were actually sitting there.
I don't know about beautiful video.
Well, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? The beholder. Yeah, I think you were sitting there in the same room, and you said, I know how it feels to be approaching Christmas time as a parent with no money. If you are struggling and you're worried about Christmas presents for the kids and all that, give me a shout and I'll help out as best I can. And I thought that was incredible. I thought that was a lovely thing to do, and I think I remember thinking at the time it's something that more of us should do, and try and support Kenny in doing this. No, I didn't want to jump on the bandwagon and go, well, I'll do the same as well. But I wanted to find out if I could support you in any way by doing that. What was the driver for doing that video?
I thought I'd been doing that for a while, to be honest. I think, well, I had my son straight from hospital, so I was single dad. Couldn't work. Lived in Glasgow, Drumchapel at the time. Couldn't work because I had a baby straight out of hospital. Had no idea what to do with him, and that wasn't working, so I didn't have money. It's not as if there's my parents or people around about me had money. So that was just it. And I think it was we got him into a nursery when he was like 6 months old, and then I was working again. But I think about when he was 2 or 3, I had a business that, and it didn't work out anyway. So I don't know what happened, but
it's not a shock.
As you heard earlier on, I'm not great at this. So it didn't work, and it was about September, October time, and that was me skint again. And I had no money. And I remember coming up, like, I don't know, early December, maybe this sort of time, and I thought, what am I going to do? Like, I have just, worse. You just in your head, you're thinking all the negative things. How can literally got them nothing, and in the housing estates, or definitely when I grew up anyway, Christmas is a massive thing. People borrow a lot of money. People buy shit they can't afford. And even to this day, all my family are in Drumchapel, and they're all the same, getting carried away with spending shit they can't afford. And we were always Provident vouchers. We got £200 of Provident vouchers at Christmas. You could pretty much go to half the shops. Not the shops you wanted to go to, but you could go to them. Anyway, but so I remember that time, and eventually my mum and sister actually bought my son's Christmas that year, right? Because I had nothing. But still felt shite the whole time, and you feel embarrassed. You feel just absolutely useless. So that was the reason for that video.
Brilliant. So it's I like the idea, the fact that with your kidney, I've got 2. I only need 1. I'll give 1 away. I've now reached that.
2?
What's that?
Do you know you've got 2?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
You wouldn't know.
That's right. That's right. I'm sure I would have picked up on some checkups or something like that along the way. But it's a great point. That's a great point. Well,
when I was in the hospital after I donated my kidney, I was in with some fantastic people. I was there was a guy opposite me. He was like 22, 23. He was on his getting his third kidney transplant. The boy next to me was I can't remember, but he was in his 60s or something, and his whole he had perennial dialysis and then dialysis and everything, and it totally destroyed his whole life for the last 20 years. He had tubes going up his legs. They eventually blocked. They had a tube going up his other leg, tube in his groin, tubes in his arms, and they just eventually all blocked. He'd been getting dialysis for so long, and no been on holiday, hadn't had a drink, doesn't eat bananas. His wife, even her diet had changed because she was eating the same as him.
Why not bananas? Sorry, I've got to ask. Why not bananas?
Potassium, I think, is bad for kidneys.
Right.
And then they stopped seeing their friends because he was lethargic or he was getting dialysis 3 days a week, and it actually massively impacts on not just the person with the kidney failure, but everybody around about them. So he had just got somebody in Liverpool had been in a car crash or something, and he got their kidney, and he was absolutely buzzing about what he was going to do. He was going to go on a cruise. It was just so much stuff. And then there was another boy right opposite me, and he had just came back to Hong Kong to get treatment here because he'd just been told his kidney was failing, and he didn't want treatment in Hong Kong because he said the healthcare there was shockingly bad, and the UK was best to come back. So the room was just so mixed with people at different stages of a shit situation.
Yeah. I put a post out a couple of weeks ago saying that one of the things that I've noticed more because most of my occupational life has been head down, just getting on with it, just try to win business, grow companies, do all of that. This year, complete change for everyone, but a complete change for us occupationally. And I've had a chance to lift my head up and see what's going on in the world and see what's going on in communities and business communities and life communities. And I meant it when I put it out, and a lot of people had some nice reactions to it. Where I put a text out saying I've been overwhelmed by just the feeling of help and support out there. If you look for it, and you don't have to look too hard for it. And also, this has been the year, I'm a bit embarrassed to say it, at 49 years old, this has been the year where I've realized that the more you actually help without asking for it, the more people come back and help you. And you don't ask for it. You just, the more you give selflessly and just give as much as you can and help as much as you can, the more it comes back to you. And I've been really overwhelmed by that. But I think it seems to me that you've never wanted anything for this. You gave the kidney away altruistically, and the fact that you're now in a sort of fortunate position with your life where you've maybe got a wee bit of expendable income, you're like, well, I could use this to help some other people, and I think that's lovely. Did that pick up? Did that take off, the Christmas gift thing?
We've managed to help a couple of people.
Right.
Or we've actually got presents sitting upstairs to go to a few people, but there's a couple of presents that we had ordered for people that are on. I think there's some things that had pre-order dates, so we're waiting on them coming. But we also had Murray at Monroe's Travel had contacted us and donated some stuff. Suzanne Boost dropped off some presents for some kids because she asked them. We gave her the ages of the kids, and Archer Knight donated £200 as well.
Seriously?
To buy some gifts. So. Yeah, so it's been good, and we've managed to help it's 3 kids that we've managed to support. So, if we helped one, that would have been good. So yes, I'm happy with that.
No, outstanding, good stuff. So, we've taken a bit of a trip through your, as you call it, your serial failures in life. Mm-hmm. But then after Sea Growth, which was business consultancy, was that around recruitment, Sea Growth?
Pretty much, but Seagrowth has kind of developed into OGV Energy. It's kind of the same thing. So
right, just want to walk us through. So how did OGV become what it is today?
So I started Seagrowth I was made redundant for Petroplan recruitment company. So I was regional director here in Aberdeen. Obviously, market changed in 2014, 2015, and pretty much for months and months, all I was doing was letting go of the team, to be honest. And then, and we closed different offices globally, and Aberdeen was one of them. And So I started a company called Seagrowth, and I was supporting a couple of other smaller recruitment companies who were looking to get into other markets, one here, one in Ireland. And then I started working with other companies with recruitment, a whole mix of different businesses. And that was really it. And then my father-in-law developed something for me. Well, I'd asked him. So when I was at Petroplan, we used the EIC data stream.
Yes.
And I'd say to him, look, a lot of companies use this. It costs a lot of money. You know, I think if we could develop something that provides the same service or similar service cheaper, it'd be a benefit. So that's what I worked on. And my father-in-law is some sort of developer. I don't really know, but anyway, he created this tool for me that pretty much did that job. But it was on an Excel spreadsheet, and then we got a web developer to help make it look a bit better. But it was running on an Excel spreadsheet, and it was shite. It was terribly slow. But I think we were selling it at the time like 20 quid a month, and the idea was sort of SaaS products, build volume, and then we could reinvest money and improve the product. So that was okay. We had companies using it in all over the world, not just here in Aberdeen. Probably more out with Aberdeen, to be honest.
Right.
Again, so that was just how it was. But anyway, offshore Europe coming up in 2017, it was literally, I don't know, 2 weeks before offshore Europe. And I thought, I wonder if I could do a brochure, a kind of magazine type thing, and just distribute it all in the show to promote the website. So it was try to get sign-ups. It wasn't a magazine or a news website or anything like that. And we got Texo Fabrication, or Texo Drone at the time. Yep. So they took the front cover of this because they had a big stand and they were trying to make a big presence at the time. American Air Filters, Dale, Barry, and Steve and Brett, who were always good to me from a recruitment point of view, took the inside front cover and some advertising. And this was a absolute shite magazine. Like, it was terrible. It was 28 pages. We were advertising sandwiches on the inside back cover. It was. So we I'd done that. We printed off. I went on and I had a look, and the other magazine at the time was Platform Magazine. And they according to their website, they were distributing 5,000 copies. So I thought, well, we'll order 6,000 copies, and we just distributed this really bad magazine everywhere, and we distributed all over the show every day. Texo let us use their stand. American Air Filters let us use their stand, and we just had all the boxes in their cupboards. And then my wife and middle boy went round Aberdeen and distributed all the magazines, and it made a wee bit of money. And I thought, well, we'll do another one of these in October, see how it goes. Made a wee bit more money, and we sort of refined every month the magazine. So we've now done, I think, 40 months of magazines, and every month it's got better. We've got a good team now of staff. So then we had no staff. We got a printer and a designer to put something together. And that designer, one of the designers who done that, is still with us, but he claims no credit for issue 1. I think he doesn't claim credit till issue 3. Like, honestly, I think he says he did 2 pages in it, but he done the whole bloody thing.
Right. Okay. Okay. And he's going to love seeing this. He's going to love seeing this as well.
There you go. He'll still deny it.
We're all imagining like the sort of industrial equivalent of Viz or something like that.
No, it was just so bad, and it was like we had no idea. So the paper quality is the wrong feel, the wrong everything. Everything is just terrible. Some of the pages, actually, you look at the page and you can barely read the words because the background image is so strong, it's almost prevents you from reading the article.
How much you've developed, right? My goodness me.
Yeah,
my goodness.
It was totally last minute. Like, literally, we got the magazines the day before offshore Europe, and I'd contact like people who have been good to me in recruitment, and then when I'd started Seagrowth, and the idea of Seagrowth was getting providing small companies the opportunity to learn. So we had like I said, Bob Keeler do a talk on presentation skills, and we had people on Twitter, experts from Manchester and different places, come up and do talks. And so straight away, I was kind of on like Bob Keeler, any chance you could do me a favor and just write an article for this magazine? I think he was on holiday at the time, and he messaged back, Kenny, I'm on holiday. What do you want this to be about? It's like literally anything. I've just got a magazine to fill. So it wasn't really a money maker. We had a couple of companies do us a favour, and then since then on we've went on and we've grown and we've reinvested in people, magazine, products, services, and we've got a good team. They're all hard-working people, so it's all good.
I'm guessing what originally started as a printed publication probably still is that, but you probably knowing you moved into the digital space as well, right?
Yeah, so our digital magazine gets really good traffic now, and our website. So before COVID, we were getting 10,000 visitors per day type thing, and then at the height of COVID, we were getting like 16,000 visitors a day.
Seriously,
and that's dropped back down now as people were doing different things and everything else. But I think we're still sort of 13,000 people a day visit our website. So our magazine online is really growing, and we've picked up new advertisers. We've picked up advertisers in France, in Malta, in Korea that we didn't know even existed before COVID. And they had contacted us because they started to see our website, started to see our magazine. So so some things have been really good. Other things not. The biggest things for OGV is the magazine being in reception areas. So a lot of that's been impacted. And going to events, so going to ADIPEC, going to OTC, going to ONS. These are opportunities to catch up with clients, meet new people. We do business breakfasts and we do golf days and different stuff in these locations. So it's fantastic for us, and it's good for the staff as well. It kind of keeps the staff morale high. So all of that's kind of gone at the moment. Yeah,
very much so. For anyone who does a bit of research about OGV, you'll find that there aren't many publications in this world that have a beer company attached to them.
No.
So tell us about your recent advance this year. So summertime this year, I think you launched the OGV tap room. What is that all about? Don't get me wrong, I think it's brilliant, but we just want to know what it's all about.
Yeah, so I guess that's thanks to Loganair. So on about this time, November time last year, Loganair were going to launch a new route in February to Haugesund in Norway. So we were talking to them about some advertising and different things, and then we spoke to them regards helping them promote their route to the energy sector. So they suggested they would give us a private jet to take maybe 40 people. I think it was a 48-seater plane, and there would be some OGV staff, some Loganair staff, and then sort of 40 energy sector people. And we would take them, meet at Aberdeen Airport, 2:30, private lounge, fly over to Haugesund. There'll be a bus waiting, take them to a place called The Garage, which is a craft bar owned by, I think, the sales director of Expro.
Right.
And then it would be basically just craft beer and gin and whiskey, and then Loganair would do a speech, and then we would fly back up via Iceland through the Northern Lights and back to Aberdeen for 10:30. So a great day. And the idea was from that was, how do we promote OGV? Because it's great for us to get the people on the plane. That's good for us. But once they get on the plane and it's all Loganair, and it's all Loganair brand in the bar, it's a Loganair plane, and it's Loganair holding a speech. So they suggested we could do OGV on the back of the seat rest, because they do jets for Premiership teams in England. So they could do that, and they could do OGV bottles of water. I said, what about OGV beer? And they said, yeah, but you'd need to sort that. So we started looking into beer at the turn of the year, and it was going to be too expensive, because you would need probably 3 beers in case they thought the beer was shit. So you probably need a couple just to make sure everybody had a drink. Yeah. And it just turned out to be so expensive. Every time you do the branding, the labels, everything, and then finding somebody to white label beer. So off the back of that, I kind of liked the idea, and I had in my head then that we were going to have OGV beer. So it was just progressing that to the point where we now have OGV beer. And then you look at it from a business point of view, selling, unless you're a huge provider of bottles of beer, you're not going to make much money. So the only way to do that is to have a bar. So that's now what we're working on. So we've got a premises in Aberdeen, and we hope to open a bar. No, we hope we'll open our first tap room hopefully February time next year. So we've got a very large venue. So we'll have the opportunity to do a whole host of things. We can do small exhibition stands, we can do panel sessions, we can do a whole host of things. And obviously offshore Europe next year, all being well, will be kind of the big thing for us, and how we can really show off the venue. So yeah.
Outstanding. I had no idea about that. That's brilliant. I thought this was just like a little side thing, but this is major. This is significant.
Yeah, we want to try and grow it. So good support. And
are you allowed to say what it's going to be called yet, or are you keeping that under wraps?
No, not yet.
Not yet. You're not saying. Can't tease it out yet. But it's in Aberdeen, a big venue. This sounds terrific. So yeah, fantastic. I can't wait till we're in a position where we can walk in there and have a beer and have a chat as human beings, as we did before, or maybe as we do in the future, maybe slightly differently. We do it, but I can't wait for that. It would be silly not to ask you. You're so knee deep in the oil and gas industry and energy industry. It'd be silly to not ask your view on the current situation and any vibes that you're picking up on, and trends and stories and all of that. What do you think? What's your view on the sector right now?
Tough.
Yeah.
I think a lot of companies are becoming more efficient. I think companies who had diversified or internationalized after the lockdown or after the downturn in 2015, I think they're doing much better.
Right.
But I think also when we were speaking to people in May, June, July, things were okay. Companies had good order books. This was supposed to be a good year, or the best year since 2015. And I think now those order books are starting to dry up for some companies, or the reality is now that some of those projects have been pushed back. I think companies will use the furlough scheme again over the next couple of months.
Yeah.
As orders do dry up. So I think it's tough. I think other things as well. Some of the clients we do work with that are doing well are still faced problems with logistics, trying to get guys into the international countries or trying to get product into countries.
Mm-hmm.
So there is still issues, and obviously things like that, there is an additional cost because the guys have to, their rotation is longer because they're isolating or whatever, or the shipping costs are more expensive because there's been limited availability for something. So there's a lot of
knock-on side issues.
Yeah, a lot of side issues that you don't see. But I think, I think overall, obviously, companies been pushed on margin, reduction of pricing. I've heard the companies offering to do work for free, just to get in the door in some locations. I've heard other things where companies are getting smarter. Companies have developed new products, new technologies, or companies have just improved their efficiency. Whereas before, like somebody was telling me the other week that they realized that they found that they were 2,000 hours over on a 900-hour job, and that was kind of the normality. It was more focused on hitting the deadline, so they just flung all the hours at it, and then they realized, shit, we've got another job here. And then they would throw all the guys at that, and they would pull in they would pull in recruitment companies and agency guys.
Their margins going down and down and down.
Well, I think there was no margin, but
right,
it was just more about as long as the work was coming in, things kept going. So things like that, companies are smarting up. Companies are, have had the time, or the people maybe, in some cases, companies couldn't afford somebody to come in, but now that person's more affordable, or they've got free time, and they can get some of that expertise to come in and just look at how their business is running. So it's a whole mix, but there's a lot of companies struggling. Companies will definitely use the furlough scheme, I think, over the next few months, and hopefully, the vaccines or whatever coming in and things hopefully improve. Then we'll see these companies get back to working. But it wouldn't surprise me if there was more layoffs in April time or March when the furlough comes to an end.
Yeah, without a doubt. We'll be watching that closely. Just a final word. What we've spoken about the tap room, which is an awesome step forward for OGV, and a very unusual but brilliant step forward. What about OGV itself? Anything you can share with us about future plans or anything like that? Where do you see it going, or are you just going to hold fast just now and just keep going with what you're doing?
No, we're always looking to grow. I think, well, for me anyway, to be honest, the more revenue streams we've got coming in, the easier it is for me, the less stress it is for me. So the tap room side is another revenue stream. We're working with RGU, Opportunity Northeast, to develop a training platform,
right?
Which again is a different revenue stream. And some of these things will work and some of them won't. So, I'm not naive to think everything's just going to keep building and building. We'll have problems, but we're looking at launching a radio station February, March. That'll be above our new tap room. And then hopefully we can get to doing more events and different things. So basically this year has been, more than 50% of our revenue was just wiped out by COVID. We furloughed for a while. Magazines slowed down, some advertisers and postponed and things like that. So we've done well this year to launch the OGV community. I think we're just really fortunate with the companies that we've been lucky to work with. They've been really supportive. Some of them unbelievably supportive. I think some companies coming through recruitment and try to start OGV. I wouldn't say they would have bought any shit on a stick for me, but they were willing to support me and help me get up and running.
Right.
And their companies and their people have been, super supportive all the way through this. So as long as you've got a bit of support and a bit of backing, then you can if you make fuck ups, you can get past them. You can keep going. So that's the plan. So launch the radio, get the tap room up and running. Hopefully we can do more events, grow the OGV community, and just keep trying to grow the traffic and add any new services or ideas that come across.
Brilliant. I think it's again, you'll probably hate this, but what you're doing is inspirational, and your sort of passion for, let's give it a go, let's give it a try, and I love it. I absolutely love it, and it's kind of
I don't have a choice.
I don't have a choice. Kind of stand still. Hey, listen, brilliant. It's been brilliant to catch up with you. Thank you so much for coming on the Crux Cast. Absolutely brilliant. Wish you all the best in what you're doing with OGV and the tap room and everything else, the radio station and all of that. And thank you so much for joining us. Great to see you.
Right. Thank you very much.
See you, man. Bye-bye.